Hey, welcome to Oracle Fest. This is John Barkus. I'm going to talk to you today about Oracle and Industry 4.0. And today, again, I'm John Barkus. I'm a GVP of Industry Strategy Group at Oracle, focusing on the manufacturing, high-tech, and consumer market industries. And I have with me today Surya Kamareddy. He's a director of the Manufacturing Industry Strategy Group also. So we're going to talk to you today about Industry 4.0 and Oracle. So first off, there's a tremendous amount of change that's ongoing today, and this changes are really accelerating. We see impact all throughout the world, and a lot of this impact's been accelerated with the COVID and all the challenges that companies had in the last year. And companies have focused on becoming more agile, improving their operations and scenario planning, products and services. They're really providing real-time visibility. These are all issues and concerns that companies are focused on. And it's really becoming more and more dramatic as time progresses. So companies are really focused on transforming their business, and they really transform it with this digital thread. And that implies taking all aspects of the business and be able to tie them together in a digital way so they can execute much faster. It helps them to minimize latency, improve their throughput, and be able to execute and improve their interactions with their customers. In order to do this, they use enabling technologies such as analytics, blockchain, IoT, AI, machine learning, and all of the other elements in order to be able to improve these efficiencies and really create the connectivity that's required. And Accenture had an interesting quote where they said agile firms are 2 times more likely to achieve top quartile financial performance when they're digitized. And so that's an area of focus for companies today. And just an example of that, in the year 2020, these are 2 really interesting numbers related to digitization. 18.7%. Companies that digitized their business were 18.7% more successful in generating increased revenue than those that were not. And those that were digitized really had a 17.6 improvement on profit. And this is just in the year 2020. So it's a continually benefit for companies if they digitize. They're much more able to be to support any needs and changing conditions of the industry, and they're much more apt to be qualified to improve their business. And so Oracle, of course, enables this digitally connected supply chain, and that's really our Industry 4.0 strategy. Across the entire enterprise, through planning, maintenance, and logistics, manufacturing, transportation, warehouse management, by tying all the aspects of the business together, and that is through IoT and through other enabling technologies, we're able to enable that digital thread to be able to help companies to be much more productive. So today what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you a demonstration of our Industry 4.0 strategy as it relates to our in our Industry 4.0 lab. So in this lab, we basically enhanced and built out a complete end-to-end supply chain. And really what that does is, if you think about taking orders today, you get a custom order, and there's a lot more personalization and requirements for companies to be able to engage specific orders and specific requirements to the particular need that a customer might have. And then you really want to ship it. In the middle of that is a factory, and companies today are automating those factories at an accelerated pace to be able to build it. But in doing so, there's a lot of complexities to doing it. And so what we're going to demonstrate for you today is a complete automated factory. We'll enter an order, and in that order, we'll watch these robots turn on, and those robots activate themselves. We'll monitor the robots, and Surya will walk you through a process where he'll basically show you the process of the manufacturing engineer in the routing process. Show you the analytics associated with monitoring, tracking, the evolution within your factory. Be able to see the asset itself and track it through a direct IoT connection to be able to help predict maintenance requirements. And then the sales order will transition throughout the system. The work order will be able to be engaged. The work order will progress throughout the manufacturing cloud. The integration of services, the automation of the process, tracking quality, and then we'll even have an AI ML visual quality check in it. All of this is enabled with Oracle technology. And Surya is going to walk you through the individual processes and show you all of the steps and show you how that's impacted leveraging the Oracle screens. And just as a simplified view of this, just to allow you to kind of track this through a little bit easier, I'll actually create the order. That will automatically be converted in the background to a work order. It'll automatically from there go through the process, identify the right routing, identify the right robots and the right process, and be able to kick off the production activities. IoT will kick off automatically, where you'll be able to monitor that asset. We'll be able to track the orders, throughout the process. We'll monitor the production line. And in addition to that, as I mentioned earlier, we'll do an AI ML visual quality checks and validate that the process is working as we'd hope. And then all of this will have analytics that crosses the board and keeps track of our performance within the factory. So with that, let me take you over to the order and let me enter an order. So what is this? A simplified view. Again, it's a small Industry 4.0 lab. In this lab, the first thing that we do is we allow configurations, the ability to be able to select in particular what that customer wants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check a block. What I'm going to do is choose this bottom one. So I'll pick a green block. And then I notice that there's 77 of these blocks in inventory. And then there's a custom manufacturing process. And that custom manufacturing process that I'm doing is I'm going to pick an engraving. I'm just going to go pick the bottom one here too. And this is the engraving that I'm going to include on this block. So the robot will actually move the block, do the engraving for me. And again, this could be any manufacturing process that we would like. I'll confirm that selection. Again, it validated that I have an inventory. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that to my cart. And if you notice up here, my cart's been updated. So I'm going to stop sharing. And what I'm going to send this over to Surya. And Surya is going to actually walk us through the factory. It is going to show the robot on and activating, and then walk us through all the business process associated with that.
Hey John, thank you. So as John mentioned, this is a fully automated robotic factory. So let me show you a view of that. Let's look at how it is handled by the lights out factory. The order from the storefront creates a sales order in the order management application, and which in turn creates a production work order. I can log into the order management application at any time to view the sales order status. So let's look for the order that came from John. So this is the latest order that came from John. And we see that it's awaiting shipment, and it's for a green engraving 3 image that John placed an order for. And let me switch to fulfillment view to see how it's being fulfilled. And we see that it's assembled to order, and it's waiting for supply, awaiting supply, and this is a supply order. Let's look at the details of that. And here is the item that's being manufactured, and we see that there is a work order associated with this sales order. And it's been—
So, Surya, just to be clear, so this is actually the order management system, and
Yep.
right now this is the work order, which is automatically populated, based upon the instructions that were in the system.
Yep. And we saw that from the storefront, it automatically triggered a sales order into the system, and sales order is fulfilling that by creating a automatic work order, right? So this is the work order. Let's look into the details. And this is the item that's being manufactured. It has 3 operations. The first operation is the pick and place, second operation is engraving, and final is the finished product check. It's in ready state. And we see that it's been reserved against this sales order, right? So as soon as it's produced, it will be shipped against this sales order.
And those beeps are actually instructions coming to the robots, telling them to get started, right?
Yep, yep. And we see that the factory is waking up. Energy conservation is baked into the system. Automation goes into sleep mode when there is no activity beyond a set period of time. And when there is an order, the production line wakes up as it is now to produce the orders. So momentarily, operation 10 will kick off, which is the robot on the right. It is a pick and place robot. So the robot picks up the color block from the inventory that you see on the far right. The raw material that was ordered, right? So since this is a fully automated production line, we implemented quality checks at every critical stage to ensure the final product is of good quality. Looks like—
Didn't I order a green one, Surya?
Yeah, that's right, John. So it may happen that the raw material is not to the standards sometimes. So that's why it's important to check quality. And since it's rejected, it creates a quality issue in the system. So let's go look at that. And the robot, while the robot is going and fetching another block, so that reject was this issue. It created a quality issue for wrong color block for our work order 1102. And this creates a system of record, right? So this allows the operations team and supply teams to make corrective actions to either work with the supplier of the inventory or maybe the raw material kitting process is wrong. So now you see that operation 10 is complete. So let's go and see its status in the work execution.
So the first robot just handed it off to the second robot, right?
Yeah, yeah. So first robot was operation 10. The second robot is operation 20. You see that it's engraving. So I'm pulling up, while I'm pulling up this work order status. Yeah, here it is. So 1102 is our work order that we saw, right? It's in release state. So we can see the operation status here. The operation 10 is complete, and now operation 20 is in progress. So this is a lengthy engraving process. So let me take this opportunity to show you the other things that are going on behind the scenes. So as John mentioned, all the assets in the production line are being actively monitored. They are connected to our IoT cloud applications. Data from these assets is sent to the IoT apps using MQTT open standard protocol. Any open standard OPC UA or any other protocols can be sent to IoT cloud. So using the IoT production monitoring cloud, we can collect this data from the assets and aggregate them into production lines, and production lines can be aggregated into factories to view real-time performance globally, right? We can create dashboards like this and put whatever metrics that we want to monitor. Also, we can create production line views with your realistic production line. This is our production line. And use KPIs to monitor whatever metrics you want to see. Here are some of the inbuilt metrics like production plan behind and things like that. From here, we can quickly identify some of the major issues that are happening on the factory floor, whether production is falling behind and things like that. And from there, you can drill down into the assets to see what's going on.
Is that the whole factory modeled on that screen?
Yes, this is the production line that's modeled on the screen. Similarly, you can have multiple production lines that you can pull and view the data. So this is the data coming from, oh, sorry, I'm picked the wrong robot. Let's look at engraving robot. So this is the robot that's moving right now. So you can see its axis motions and joint motions in real time, right? So this way, you can view all the data in real time, make sure it's in proper condition based on the sensor data that's coming out of the assets, and using the inbuilt AI and machine learning models that we have, you can detect anomalies, deviations from your normal patterns, or predict asset failures in order to make sure you address those issues quickly without interrupting the production or reducing the interruptions in your production. So this allows you to keep your production lines in top shape and producing goods all the time, reducing any unwanted downtime. So all this data that's coming out of the production line is then contextualized with the enterprise data. And then you can glean much more deeper insights. And this is done using the analytics cloud. So not only the data from the production line, but when contextualized with the rest of the enterprise data, allows managers and other stakeholders to run comprehensive analysis and monitor key performance metrics. So the richness and the simplicity of the analytics cloud you can see here. This is a custom dashboard that we built. And you can visualize any key metrics related to you and your importance, and things like productivity, quality, scrap, or energy consumption. This will allow you to perform quick analytics and monitor performance and draw actionable insights. By collating data from across the enterprise, it lets operations managers quickly perform root cause analysis as well, to find contributing root causes beyond just the factory, right? So for example, here we see that there are a lot of quality issues in this month. By clicking on that, I can quickly identify all the root causes that led to this quality issue, thereby allowing operations managers and other teams to quickly resolve these issues, avoiding any lengthy guesswork or triage processes. So,
am I limited to only Oracle data in looking at this, or can I look at any?
I mean, we have interfaces to pretty much any other databases or enterprise systems. We have open connectors, so you can pull in data from anywhere. So any repository as well, right? Structured or unstructured kind of data also can be pulled in to perform analytics. So having seen that, so this is an automated production line. Like I mentioned, right? All these programs are, this whole production line is managed by software. And increasingly, the world of manufacturing is moving that way, right? Software driven. The software controls and manages the sequence of operations, receives orders, ensures product quality, communicates with Oracle applications like I mentioned before, sending data, using REST APIs to update the status progress like we saw, and also execute some of the automation itself, augmenting the robotic automation, going beyond the robotic automation. The set of programs are attached to the work definition as a package. And then whenever there are design changes or improvements in the processes and things like that, this package goes through a design review, goes through approval process using the PLM processes, and gets attached again. The next version of this is attached here again. So whenever this particular item is ordered again, the factory pulls that package and executes those new set of instructions. Thereby, this way we have created a closed loop operations, right? Any changes are reflected back immediately into the factory, and things that are happening in the factory are observed offline to make sure things are progressing, and if not, make changes immediately. So this is a closed loop automated production line. So it looks like this operation is coming to a completion. So while you look at that, let me switch back to the work order screen so we can see as it changes operations states from operation 20 to 30.
Oh, there it goes.
Yep. So that's our operation. And we see that now operation 20 is complete and operation 30 kicked off. So you can see it's going to put it on the conveyor. And this will kick off the QA process, where the final product moved under a camera, where it's taking an image, and this is sent to our AI machine learning model. And that AI machine learning model classifies this model, and it recognizes that it's a green industrial, which is what John ordered. Thereby, it accepted that result. And then the product is sent for shipment. So this AI model was built using our data science platform, and it's uploaded into our cloud infrastructure. And we utilize this to perform the quality checks. So that completes the production process. So let me go back and show you the status updates on this work order, right? So you see that now all the operations are completed. And you also see that each of these operations consume certain resources as well as raw material. So these are also accounted for. And that we can see in the history, how many resources, how much resources, how much raw material is consumed. So let's go take a look at the history. So we see this from the transaction history. And all the things that happened on the production floor are captured here, starting from the kickoff of this production in operation 10, and there was a return from scrap and operation completion, right? Material issue for operation 10 and material issue for operation 20 and through to the completion.
And Surya, those two material issues were actually backflush transactions, right?
Yes, so let's see that. So you saw that when you placed an order, there were 62 items of this raw material available, right? So let's go back and view that, but give me a minute. Let me show you one more thing here. So apart from the history, we saw that there was a quality inspection record. So that is also captured here. So you see that this record has been created and this product has been accepted, right? So you can go in and see the inspection details, and you could also attach other things, right? We haven't attached an image, but you could also attach the image of the final product here. So that creates a record of the qualities aspects, right? So now, as you mentioned,
and it's automatically created the inventory for that finished goods, correct?
Yep, that's right. So let's go back and look at our inventory in inventory management. And I'm going to look at the quantities for the block that John ordered, which is LOF00C3. Now we see that it has decremented. So now that it finished the goods, it has backflushed it, and now we see a decrement in the inventory store. So now next time when someone places an order, they'll see 61. And as and when this inventory of blocks depletes below a certain level, we can trigger inventory transfer from the warehouse to the sub-inventory. And we also track this raw material in our case using IoT asset monitoring. IoT asset monitoring is not only used for asset monitoring, but you could use for other sensor-based data where you can track several other things as well. So as you can see here, we're tracking this inventory level. It's refreshing in a bit. So now that there are no orders, you see that the robot factory is going back to its energy conservation mode. It shuts off the production line, and whenever there is a next order, it will wake up again to produce, like we saw in the beginning. So going back to asset monitoring, you see that these are the block inventory that we have in the factory, in the production line. And we have created rules where if the inventory level falls below a certain level, it will trigger a incident. We set that threshold to 13 for green block. So you see that an incident has been created. So someone can go and replenish that raw material, right? So once they see that, okay, now green block has to be replenished. And once they finish that, they will withdraw this incident, thereby notifying that it has been addressed. So as you saw, John, so it's a completely fully automated factory, an intelligent micro factory, completely zero touch, lights off factory, going just beyond traditional implementation of automation using robotics and others. This micro factory exchanges data in real time, digitally connects all value chain activities, creating an integrated view of the production programs, inventories, quality, order management, and such. By implementing transparency, closed loop operations, and data-driven decision-making, supply chain costs and risks can be reduced. With this fully integrated digital factory, we are able to get the maximum return on investment out of the automated production facilities. And we are able to run these production lines lights out 24/7. Yeah, this is the new reality we can achieve using Industry 4.0 technologies, cloud applications, AI and machine learning, IoT, and with a complete suite of applications that can connect digitally to create a fully automated and digitally enterprise solution. Back to you, John.
Awesome, sir. You want to let me share for a second, and then let you quit, and I'll share and just summarize real quick. That was a great summary you have, and really a great demonstration of everything that was capable of doing. Just as a quick summary, what Surya just showed you again is really taking the order, and at the point we took the order, and then executing that order automatically all the way throughout the complete supply chain throughout the manufacturing facility and all the way prepared for shipment. It was a completely automated process, and it really shows the value of this digitally connected digital thread. Really to enable that. So throughout that process, you have complete visibility, completely lights out, automation, tracking, activity associated with that, real-time visibility of every machine using IoT, recognizing, the capability to provide, AI capability and alerts and to be able to execute all this automatically. So again, great demonstration, sir. We appreciate it. And with that, we want to thank you for your time today, and we hope you enjoyed the session and enjoy the rest of your time at Oracle Fest. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.